has changed. So let's see if that is sorted today. There we go. So now, there we go. And we're streaming. Oh, we're actually live. Okay, so that's me being incredibly professional. I don't know that we're live. I'm just, no, yeah, definitely we're live. I got, just looked at the stream there. And, might I just say that you look particularly handsome, today, Gavin.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So, yeah, how's the pandemic treating you these days?
Good the last week or two. I've been feeling after a fair bit of procrastinating. I've been getting some good work in the last couple of weeks. The last feels good.
I hear that. I've been hitting, particular, I don't know if you want to call it a dip, or it's been a really roller coastery the last couple of weeks for me. Which kind of makes sense. It's the anniversary of when, I had a major life event that I wasn't expecting around this time last year. So I think the body remembers. And I think I've been trying to be kind with myself as I've been very rough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just treat yourself good, and some days I feel like when I'm not doing something, I'm like, oh, why can't I be doing something? And the body wants what the body wants.
Yep.
Sometimes.
So I like to call it. It's the fun adventures with mental health.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully, it'll change around, and then only stays so long for some way, and then it goes. For me, anyway.
Well, that's the beauty of it too, right?
I'll have a bad break, and then I'll have a really good time. So.
No, I hear that, and I think that for me is definitely one of the beauties of just learning and remembering that human beings are resilient, and that reminding myself that just because today was bad doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be bad again tomorrow, or even in an hour, right?
For sure. That's one of the most important things we can remember is not give up hope and know that we are
well, and to constantly remind I need to constantly remind myself that so much of what I consider to be reality is my perception of reality, and so much of how I perceive reality is affected by so many different things. Like, have I eaten yet today? Usually no. Did I remember to take my brain meds today?
Yeah.
And all these different sort of factors all come into effect that have a huge impact on how I perceive reality. And so I've learned, of course, to put in all those little stopgap sort of measures. So when everything starts looking in this particular color, or everything gets framed through these kind of words, those are like keys for me to kind of like set up and take notice and say, okay, I'm not doing well right at the moment.
It's good to be self-aware sometimes. Sometimes we get so busy that we don't really. Every once in a while, it's just to clue in and go, this is happening because of this, or or is your note when you're having a good day? I'm having a good day. Why could that be? Why? And then and then you go, well, okay, this and this happened. Okay, maybe I should have incorporate that more into my other days, right?
Right.
Like you're trying to be aware of everything that we do, and it's hard to do. We can't do 100% if we're just human if we're not.
Too true.
But it's always good to take note, and for sure,
And speaking of taking notes, there is a purpose and a reason behind this call, as per usual. Allow me to just say hello and welcome to anybody who's decided to join us this far in, getting through our banter, getting our levels all sorted out. This is, of course, the 10100 conversation. It's going to be a quick one today, on account of I think we're all pretty much don't have a whole lot of energy, or at least I don't. So, but I do have some thoughts. And Gavin, I would love to hear some of your thoughts on some of these thoughts today. Because I was thinking about the 10100 framework, which we're pretty familiar with at this point. You know, real quickly, 10 businesses, 100 members, bringing $100 a month, creating that pool of capital that we then use to plant those businesses. Seems pretty straightforward to me. And I will ask my friends. I'll just sit there and I will say, hey, Gavin, this makes sense, right? You know, if there's 100 of us and we bring $100 each, then we'll have a big, huge pile of money that we can then start planting businesses from. That does make sense, right? So it follows a bit of logic.
It makes sense. It's pushing it to reality is a different thing altogether, but pushing it to it's gotta be.
I mean,
on track. It's a big one.
Yeah, I think pushing it to reality is as simple as getting 100 people together who are all on the same page, and getting 100 people together on the same page is as simple as having something that they can galvanize around. Now, this is brands making news, so nobody really knows about it except us. And that's fine. Everything's got to start somewhere. But at this stage, if we can create something that we can point people to, if we can create something...
I was just gonna say, we need to get maybe a website finally going to try to get people interested in stuff. So
exactly, and of course for the website, then we need content. And
we got the live streams we're gonna post up there.
Yeah, we do have some live streams, but to be perfectly honest, most of them are pretty shit. So I'm gonna have to go through and edit some of them, I think, which is fine.
Or you just get a video of you speaking sometimes about the intro video if we get 20 people to that page. Here, I'm James. Here's my idea. You know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually,
good,
that would be a great idea. A nice little project.
Speaking voice and charismatic quality, that would be good for it. So. Well,
you know, I used to do.
Idea, right? So.
Sorry.
It is your idea, so I think you should.
It's my take on an old idea. Like the idea of a cooperative is and it's.
I mean, this whole initiative thing. You're undertaking and you're helping get so. And I'm starting to get. I just finished all my current work basically, so I'm kind of well, I am starting a bit of work again, but I think I can get a website going relatively fast now. And
okay, so Laura and I have been working on generating content for something like that, like a kind of poster. So maybe if I were to take some of those notes and set aside some time, sometime this week.
Come over. That would be great.
That would be great. I could possibly do a Thursday or Friday during the daytime, but only be able to be over there for a little bit. That might be all we need to get on the same page and to get some stuff there. We might even be able to bring Laura in if we give her enough heads up.
Yeah, what about the weekend? Would that work, or you have your kids?
I'm going to have kids this weekend, but I won't have kids next, the weekend after that.
I think this weekend's wrapping. It's been, I have a couple things there, and I know, something Thursday and Friday. Might be better just schedule and book in for next Tuesday or earlier before the group on before the meeting on Monday?
Yeah. So yeah, I always have Mondays, and
Okay.
I always have Tuesdays. So
Alright,
those are my days
well,
off.
do Tuesday or Monday next week. How about that, okay?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah. So this would be one of those things that we would definitely edit out of the end sort of video, because no one else needs to hear our scheduling process. But I do
Sorry.
like it. Um, but yeah, so let's say, let me look at my calendar. Actually, I don't have to guess. I have the technology. Yeah. Do you want to say? You know what? Just to be safe, let's say Tuesday.
Okay.
And what time do you get started in the morning?
I'm up pretty early nowadays, but you want maybe do 10 or something?
10.
Or
Sounds great. Yeah, no,
Okay, okay.
that gives me a reason to get up in the morning.
Okay, that's good. That's okay.
And so if I leave, say around 9, I might be able to hit up a coffee shop on the way there, grab some
That's good.
grab some coffee on the way over. Do you know if the bean cellar is operating at all?
Um, Sadly, no.
Oh.
It's not gonna be opening again. Not
Oh,
here.
are
Yeah.
they Kaputnik?
Yeah, I think Kay took decided to take the opportunity to retire.
Okay.
So Bridget's working at Brigitte's now,
Yeah.
and from what I gather, Kay might help her son open up a restaurant or something. That think they're going to just thinking of going forward there. About your idea about but yeah, she's trying to maybe help her son open up a restaurant.
Interesting.
Outside of the area. I'm not. I mean, outside of the building. Not in the. Won't be in the cellar, and I don't know where it's located. If it's in town or anything, but that's why I asked her first. Maybe trying to. Son might be kind of more of a mentor role. Maybe help her to fund it, help her son start something. I guess.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Do you know what? You mentioned that. Do you know what kind of restaurant or?
Well, from what I gather, is that it would be more than a coffee shop, and it would. And one of the big things is the focus for live music too. I think probably something.
Interesting.
So, yeah. That's I don't know much more than that. That's kind of the rumor mill I heard. That's what I heard people.
You heard it here first, folks. This is how the Owen Sound Rumor Mill works. Love it.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think the be. I think it's pretty safe to say now. I think it's. I don't know. I don't know. It's quite public knowledge, but as far as I know, the being hilarious.
Okay. Well, it makes sense because
That area is one of my favorite places. I guess.
I'm right. Oh well. There are other places that I can
Yeah,
frequent now.
Bridget downtown. I go there now. Bridget works there.
Yeah.
You know Bridget?
Yeah.
Bridget. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Same. So I guess that's where I'm gonna go swinging by for coffee on my way over to your place.
yeah, it's my new place. I go now.
So I got it to thinking. I was thinking this afternoon about approaching the 10100 structure from the aspect of the business, the person with a vision for business, right? Which is a little bit different from how I normally communicate it. Because normally when I'm communicating this, I'm communicating the idea from the vision, or like from the viewpoints of people who are generally coming at from not like the position of what would be the traditional entrepreneur position or the capitalist position or the business manager position. Most people are coming at this from the worker position and point of view, and when thinking about this idea and how I communicate it, it is communicated differently to people depending on which area they're coming from. In part because they're going to be interested in different things. It's not that I'm selling, one thing to somebody and telling somebody else something different, right? It's the same structure. It's the same 10-100 structure. I'm just. I think that people who are looking at this as an alternative to working at like a fast food restaurant or something like that are going to be approaching this differently from somebody who's asking the question of, I have this business idea that I want to get off the ground, but I don't have the money to do it, right? And they're ultimately have a home within the 10-100 structure, both of those people, but they're going to be coming to it for different reasons, and they're going to be looking to the structure for different outputs. Outputs is the wrong term, because the output is basically going to be our surplus. And that's going to be the output. But it's also going to be meeting other needs. For most of us, it's going to be the needs of just having something that will help us pay our bills and will eventually pay for all of our housing needs and all that other great stuff. But do you think I'm off in thinking that for the entrepreneurially minded, they might have a different interest in this, what this might offer than the person who's looking at this to replace their wage slavery job?
Well, obviously, if they're kind of opening up a business, that would be a big difference. And again, they would want it for. I think relatively everything's the same, but they would be wanting. It would be one. Obviously, they would be wanting their business to be funded. That's the big thing. Sorry, I'm kind of lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thought process went like this. My friend, who's unfortunately not able to join the conversation today, is a fellow by the name of Jordan. And he has another fella who wants to start a business. But here's the thing. He worked as a partner in a different business where he was basically taken advantage of, where he was promised partnership but was never legally provided it. He operated as though he was a partner, but on the books he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Okay.
One of those sort of situations. So he was a great employee. This guy made a business, built and established a business because of the hard work of this guy. And at the end of years of investing in this other guy's business, when the time finally came for him to become partner, it didn't materialize.
Okay.
So he's a little bitter, and understandably so. And I was trying to imagine, like, how would I approach selling the idea of the 10-100 to them or somebody in that situation or a similar situation. And tell me if you follow this line of thinking. I want to start a business, right? I want to start a restaurant. And in my restaurant, I want it to be the most amazing place on earth. I want kids to want to go there on their birthdays and on their Saturdays. I want 20-somethings and 30-somethings to have a place to go that isn't just about the grinding on the floor and paying for ridiculously priced booze. Although chances are really good I would price my booze ridiculously high at this establishment in order to keep it from becoming a cheap watering hole.
Yeah.
And to also up the profit margins. And oh yeah. So I want to start a business. And Gavin, let's just, for the sake of argument, say that you also want to start a business.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bring. Yeah, but my big problem is I don't have any money. I'm gonna assume that's your problem too. Because otherwise, what's stopping you from starting up your business? If you got the resources, you just go out and you do it. You know, If you don't have the people, you hire the people. You know, if you don't have the expertise, you hire the expertise. Yeah. And that's the situation I'm in. You know, I have this vision for my dream job, the thing that I want to get out of bed to do every day, you know, where my job will be to go in and to make sure other people have the best day of their life and to experience being, you know, the heroes in their own story. That's my dream. And to get there, it's going to require the money. And I don't have any of the money. You know, any of the money that I did have is gone. You know, either to religion or a failed marriage or you know savings that have been eaten up by moths at this point. You know, and if that wasn't enough, we had COVID-19. Right. I'm going around in circles now. So I want to start a business. You want to start a business. None of us have the money, but my business is it's gonna require maybe a dozen people or so, possibly more, in order for it to run and operate at its properly. Your business, let's say your business needs about 7 or 8 people in order for it to run and function properly, and so. What happens, and my line of thinking, of course, is, you know, if my business is going to take a dozen people, your business is going to take a little over a dozen people, why don't we find all the people that we want to work with, bring us all together, and we all chip in $100? And that then becomes the pool of capital from which we start our business. Why do I want to do this with you? Well, because, you know, with me and my dozen people, us chipping in $100 a month, we're only making just over $1,000 a month. We got a little over 10 grand at the end of the year. We're never going to be able to start my business doing that, and it's going to take us years of saving up in order to get to that place. Too long. But if we added you and your group to ours, and then we go and find a couple of other people until there's 100 of us, all of a sudden we're putting aside $10,000 a month. Now, at the end of the year, we're going to have $120,000. We won't be able to start every business with that kind of money. We might be able to start 1 or 2. But here's the thing. Once those 2 businesses are up and running, what they do in terms of the money they make goes back into the capital pile and goes into gets paid forward, and that increases, hopefully exponentially, our the pool of capital that we're going to have, that in order to be able to start the next business and the next business after that. So once we start off with 1 or 2 at the bottom, get the ball rolling, so to speak. Yeah. So, as a potential business person, this is how we're going to raise the capital. For one. I'm also thinking, as a potential business person, as a person who wants to be a business person, I want to run my restaurant. I want to go there. I want it to exist. I got a vision. I'm hungry for it. but there's a lot of expertise that I don't have, like in
Yes.
areas of bookkeeping, in areas of marketing, in areas of legal.
Yeah, sure.
And that's going to be the same for everybody who runs a business. But again, if we got 100 of us, out of 100 of us, we only need a small team, maybe of a dozen so people, who are really good at operating the books, taking care of accounting, taking care of taxes, taking care of legal, taking care
Yeah.
of promotions, all of that stuff.
Care the resources.
Exactly.
Not down
And
costs.
and
Yeah.
and so we just centralize those resources
Yeah.
and take that responsibility off of me. So all I need to do is get them the receipts and to get them everybody's not pay stubs, hour cards, time cards, sort of idea. And then I just need to establish what the hours are, and make sure everything is stocked, and make sure all the workers that are owners, because that's where all this is. We're all co-owners now. Are equipped to do the job that they need to do in order for this operation to make the money. You know what I mean? Um, so that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So anyway, well, that's also as a potential like business person, that's like finding out where the money is coming from, um, and knowing that like our strengths are we have back. Oh, here's the other thing. Yeah, but I want to be in control. You know, this whole thing sounds like a democratic enterprise. What's going on with that? And this is where I really wish I had this guy in person coming in, and where I was imagining the conversation. And that is, what would somebody who isn't me um, want to have in way of compensation for doing their business through the 10100 rather than doing their business independently, privately, by
Yeah.
themselves.
Mhm.
Now we've talked about, or I've talked about giving founders what we've called uh, founders pips, or like where they would auto generate a pip or a dividend share for them every single week. Um, I think I would transition that from week to month, um, just with the idea that, um, or what do you think? Would it be weekly or should it be monthly? What would I mean? Obviously, weekly would sweeten the deal immensely.
Talking about shares.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like at the moment, the way our system works is anybody who generates revenue for the TUM 100 gets
Mm.
and generates a dividend share. So if you work hours, dividend share. If you work full time hours, you generate a second dividend share. If you manage a business, you get a dividend share. And if you refer business through sales with TUM 100, you generate a dividend share. And there are other ways that dividend shares come into play, like incentivizations within workplace or as in lieu of reward. You know, so instead of somebody getting a dollar an hour raise, dividend shares. You know what I'm saying? Um, Instead of somebody getting a what do you call it? Commission on sales, you get a dividend share, or you if you get so many sales, you earn an extra dividend share in the week, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Um, and of course, you know, so from that aspect, oh, and one of the other ways that you would generate a dividend share that we've been talking about more recently is anytime you pay your $100 membership fee, you would also earn it, or you would also get a dividend share at that point. So anytime you invest $100, you also generate a dividend share at that point that you will be able to participate in. So everybody at any our quarterly meetings will have at least 3 dividend shares that they will get to cash in, assuming that they've paid up their membership, and hopefully, knock on wood, we'll get to a point where your dividends will be worth more than your membership fees. So at some point, it'll be worth it just to show up, because just by showing up, you'll have made money more than you would, even though it's going to cost you $100 to show up and be a member. Just by doing that, you're going to get like $150 back because of a dividend share. You know what I mean? That's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So, I guess the goals of what we need is what do you think we need to accomplish before you can start collecting that money for start? Like,
100 people.
100 people.
Yeah, no, that realistically, that is all we need. Is we need to have 100 people that are willing to ratify.
So, what we need to get is to get this going is we need something, like you said at the start, to rally people behind, right? Yeah. So, if we get a site going and then we lay that stuff out, like the things you're talking about, how the system works, how all that, and how everything's structured,
mm-hmm.
And then we do that, and like put articles in the hub and stuff, and then probably we can start getting stuff maybe interesting, and then hopefully get people going, and then if we get so much interest in it, then we'll say, hey, let's put the ball roll, let's get $100 here and get going on this. I think definitely, yeah, and I feel partly like I haven't done it, but I do think a website or some kind of thing to lay it out would be very beneficial.
So did we ever figure out what we were going to do for a URL?
No, I don't think we should go for it. I think we just should get a general domain name.com or something.
Why not a co-op domain?
I just think, I don't know, it seemed like the hoops you had to go through it, maybe at some point down the road.
Yeah,
right now, let's just go with something that we can get quickly and get set up.
Yeah, no, there are definitely some hoops to go through.
But let's get, I'll have money hopefully by, like I'm pouring now, I'm actually getting a down payment tonight, so what's something, so let's get together next week and we'll get things going with that.
Okay. Well, yeah, we've been talking for about 45 minutes now, I expect. Let me just double check.
Someone in an hour or so anyway, so hopefully get money too for having good, yeah, we should get a website. I think that's really what we need to do, something that lays everything down, because here, these meetings, which are great for people who have been tuning into them, but each time someone comes into them, or if they go away from them, and they're not caught up, or they're caught up, or they're hearing the same stuff. So to have something where they can go and see this. Here, tune in these meetings if you're interested, but also here's all the information. Are you interested here?
Yeah, little graphics where you've got like pictures of like little stick figures, of like 100 stick figure people.
That animates like it too, but also what we can also do is also get what we call like a guest list or a petition, not a petition, but here, are you interested in signing your name up? Once we have like a bunch of people, if we got a bunch of nothing, then we know we're doing something. If here's like a list where people can say,
yeah. Think about this. Do you work? Do you have experience working in a workplace? How many people did you work alongside? A dozen? 2 dozen?
Yeah, reports to like this to right up the front too.
So if you could work at a place with 2 dozen other people, imagine if you worked at a place of your own working, your own choosing, your own design, with a dozen other people that you want to work with.
I'm sold. How sign up?
Right? And here's the best part. You get to keep the profits.
Well, it sounds great, and I mean, it's a wonderful idea. It's an ambitious idea. I think it's one of those things that's, it's a really ambitious and a great idea. It's a hard one to get off the ground, but hopefully we can get a website. I think that's the next step, right?
I think somebody, Lauren had some really good points, like giving people like a finite amount of time. Like we're asking people for a 7-year investment, and if we can't make it work after 7 years, here's our exit strategy. But for a minimum of the next 7 years, and if we do 7 years, if there's 100 of us, giving $100 a month, we raise it's $120,000 a year times 8, times 7, which is somewhere in the vicinity of 860,000, I think. Nope, 840,000.
The big thing is the first business you open up, though, it has to be a business that's going to do well for everything. It can't be like, it's great to have a pipe dream business, but we need one that will guarantee the income.
Oh, yeah. No, my restaurant is not the first business we are starting. No, yeah.
Restaurant or some kind of, or something like that. Because some restaurants tend to do pretty well. You need something where you're moving a product.
Well,
a shop, like, I think it's too much of if you're like selling retail stuff, you have to buy that stuff and then sell it at a markup. I think something that you can get the profits, maximize profits in that would be a big one.
So yeah, here and that's where the beauty of having our 100 members who are not working in a business that's not started yet because it hasn't started yet. Yeah. So when the first business gets started, it's going to be maybe half a dozen to a dozen people. So that's going to leave the other 80 to 70 of us, on the outside going like, good luck, but that's where us going out and handing out as many business cards or flyers or whatever, things that will direct customers to one of our businesses, and then they get to earn dividend shares when they do that. So there's incentivization for that.
Definitely a big part of it will have to be making sure that everybody feels like they have a part in it. That you're not that way, so that's a big thing. So yeah. You're just like that. There's something that they can feel like when they're given that $100 that they're contributing something to it too. Because if you have money to blow on and give it $100, people want to feel like they are needed, and people want to feel like they are being this is such a great idea, but they need to feel like that they're excited and that they are just being a part of it makes you emotionally invested in it too.
So one of the things that Jordan and I are investigating is the possibility of being able to allow for medical benefits for our members right off the bat. Getting group medical. Yeah. And
I think there's a lot of good. Yeah, there's
So and I mean, it might be worth it if we can from day one offer our members, in addition to setting aside $100 a month, you're going to get group medical benefits and like 90% of what you set aside or 80% of what you set aside is going to go towards creating capital. So in the end, we will have raised $100,000 in the first year rather than $120,000. Well, it's not bad, you know. I think that's right.
Another thing I think too is once stuff starts going on the array, is definitely to hire someone with some actual capital, like not just like money raised from the 10-100, but also some money put forth between the founding members to hire an accountant or something just to run everything through and say, like, you know, definitely to do the legal work and all that and get set up. You're going to need definitely need some capital to get that stuff rolling, I think.
Oh yeah.
Too. Exactly. So, but once that happens too, because people once you, let's say we get someone that runs through the numbers and says, well, you can't afford to do medical right now, but maybe here. But once you have everything and get through an accountant or someone who's been trained to do that, it says, well, this sounds sound, and then people will be feeling on board to give the $100 each month too. So
yeah,
there's a fair.
And that's part of what the dream for having the monthly get-togethers is as well. So the monthly meeting eventually is going to be it's when your membership fee is due, but it's also when you get updated on the status of the business. So the status of the state of your investment, and the state of your workplace. So eventually your monthly meeting is going to be held not in, you know, your buddy's backyard. It's going to be held at your workplace. And it's going to be my hope, my dream, my vision is that day will be a day off. The business will be closed to the public, but it will be a hive of activity inside for everybody where, say in the morning we'll do training. So and the way I envision it would be the exact same day for all businesses. So like the last Sunday of the month and the quarter sort of thing, right? And two of those ones would just be with your business alone, and then one would be at a corporate gathering where all 100 people would get together, and we would learn what the entire business has been doing. And we would choose one location. We would either it would be a catered event, and we would also get our dividends at that point, and we could either cash them out or we could reinvest them into our dividend programs that we've all talked about before ad nauseum. But on those other times, that sense of community, that sense of being a part of something, I hope, will come out in those meetings when we're bringing our $100. The managers will be able to answer everybody's questions as to where their money is going, what it's looking like, and everybody will be able to see, because we're going to be practicing open accounting, right? Where people can basically see if we're making money or not. And I want people to understand that, you know. I want people to be able to see if we got money coming in, or if we're going to make money at the end of the month, or if we're tightening our belts, guys. You know, we got to do better.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my clock. I have to.
No, that's perfectly more than fine. Gavin, has anyone reminded you that you're awesome yet today?
Oh, just you, but thank you. Don't beat yourself up too much. You're awesome too.
I'll hear that, man. I'll hear that. Well, thank you so much.
Nice to refresh myself in this. I have, like I said, I have it on my sticky note up there in my phone now. Rang in the morning, telling me it's you got the. So
I'm so glad to hear that.
you get going, and we'll also meet next week, and we'll get the ball rolling on some website or something for
Yeah,
this. Okay.
I'll create an event, and I don't know if I have you in my Google contacts or not, but I'll create a Google Calendar for Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Okay. Sure. Sounds good.
And
Yeah.
I'll throw it open there to Laura as well, because
Yeah.
she's got some good stuff
Nice to
there.
see her come over.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll message her about that too. If you go ahead and do that yourself too. Okay.
All right, man. We'll chat with
Okay.
you later.
Okay. Cheers.
And to everybody else who's been joining us today, I just want to remind you that you too are awesome. I have no idea if anyone stuck it out to this point, but if you have, well on ya. You know what? This world is crazy right at the moment, and sometimes it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better, but we're all in this together, and we still breathe. We still have hope, and I certainly do. And I know that together we can possibly do something amazing. So, until next time, you guys are awesome.